Chapter 14. Mom, please don't make me take Ethan, I begged. Mom bit her bottom lip.
Brittany, you have no choice, she said. You promised him, remember? You have to take him.
She straightened her hair in the front hall mirror and picked up the car keys. It was nearly 4 the next afternoon. She was ready to drive us to perform at Sunset House, my great-aunt's retirement home.
Brittany, do you have all your art supplies packed up? Put them in the trunk, she said.
She started to the door, but I grabbed her arm. Mom, you're not listening to me, I said. If we take Ethan, something terrible is going to happen.
Stop it, right now, she said. Go call your cousin. He's upstairs practicing his comedy act.
My throat felt tight and dry. I know you don't believe me, I said. But I'm not making this up. Mr. Bad Boy is alive, Mom. He's alive, and he's evil. Mom slammed the car keys down on the hallway shelf. She glared at me angrily.
Enough, she said. Enough, enough, enough. You're acting like a total baby, Brittany.
But Mom, I can prove it, I said. She raised a hand.
Enough, enough. Not another word, I mean it. Not another word about that dummy.
My breath caught in my throat. I felt so hurt and angry. Mom always believed me before Ethan came to live with us. She always trusted me. She always talked about how grown up I was. And now... She pointed to the stairs.
Go get Ethan. Great Aunt Ruth is waiting.
I let out a long sigh and started up the stairs. I knew if I brought Ethan and Mr. Bad Boy with me, something terrible would happen. But what could I do? A short while later, Mom pulled the car up the long driveway to Sunset House. We passed by tall hedges and a rolling lawn with beds of red and yellow flowers. People sat in chairs around a bubbling fountain, talking and reading. The house was a tall brick building. The afternoon sunlight reflected off the many windows, making the whole house appear to glow. I pulled my art supplies from the trunk and waved to Mom as she drove away. Great Aunt Ruth was waiting for Ethan and me in the front hall. She's almost 85, but she looks a lot younger. She has short, straight black hair, and she wears a lot of makeup and bright red lipstick. Today she wore faded jeans with embroidery on the pockets and a pale blue shirt that tied at the waist. After giving Ethan and me bone-crushing hugs, she began chattering a mile a minute, asking about everyone in the family. A short, plump, gray-haired woman wearing a gray pantsuit stepped up with a smile. "Brittany, this is so nice of you," she said. "Hi, Mrs. Berman," I said. She's the director of the house. "This is my cousin Ethan. He's going to perform with his dummy." "How excellent," she said. "Come this way. Your audience is waiting for you in the rec room." We followed her down the hall and into the room. Folding chairs had been set up in 3 rows. About 20 people turned when we came in. Most of them were white-haired. 2 were in wheelchairs, and I saw a lot of canes and walkers. I put down my paint case and started to set up my easel. Ethan took a seat in a corner and plopped Mr. Bad Boy on his lap. "This is Ruth's niece, Brittany Crosby," Mrs. Berman announced. "She is going to give you all a painting lesson, and then Brittany's cousin, Evan, is going to put on a puppet show."
"It's Ethan!"
Mr. Bad Boy shouted. People began to murmur. A few people laughed. I opened my paint jars and turned to the audience. "I know a lot of you like to draw and paint," I said, "so I thought—" "Louder, please," a woman in the front row shouted. "So I thought today I'd—" "She's deaf," another woman called out. "She won't hear you no matter how loud you shout." A lot of people laughed. Great Aunt Ruth turned in her seat and shushed everyone. I took a deep breath and continued. "Since we're in Sunset House, I thought I'd show you how to paint a beautiful sunset with just 2 colors, red and yellow. I picked up the brush and began to mix colors.
Maybe she could paint my room,
a man in the back row said to the woman next to him. Maybe she could paint my nails, the woman said. They were both shouting. They must have been nearly deaf. I could feel my legs start to shake. Mom had warned me it would be a tough audience. I turned and saw Great Aunt Ruth smiling at me. I decided to keep my eyes on her for the rest of the demonstration.
What is she painting? I don't get this modern art.
Look, she dripped on the floor. I should have worn earplugs. But I hummed to myself to drown them out, and I kept working my brush on the canvas. The sunset painting turned out really well, maybe the best sunset I'd ever done. And when I stepped away from it, everyone cheered and clapped, even the woman who wanted me to paint her nails. Great Aunt Ruth blew me a kiss. I could tell how proud she was. I felt really happy. But then I remembered what was coming next, and my stomach tightened in dread. Here's Ethan, I announced to everyone, with his good friend, Mr. Bad Boy. As Ethan passed me, I whispered, "Don't mess up."
I'll try,
he whispered back. Why did he look so frightened?